Ambassador Catherine Hayes stood at the observation window of United Earth Diplomatic Station, gazing at the stars with a solemn expression. The message from the Galactic Council had arrived precisely 4 hours ago. Now, she and Admiral John Russell waited silently for the emergency transmission to begin. "How long do you think they've been planning this?" John asked, his weathered face reflecting in the reinforced glass. Catherine sighed. "Probably since we developed faster-than-light travel. They never expected us to advance so quickly." A soft chime interrupted their conversation as the holographic projector in the center of the room activated. The air shimmered before resolving into the images of 12 alien representatives, each seated at what appeared to be a semicircular table. The council chamber. The Arcturian delegate spoke first. 7 feet tall with iridescent blue skin and 4 arms, Ambassador Xalther's voice translated smoothly through the station systems. "Representatives of Earth, we speak today with the unified voice of the Galactic Council. This transmission is being broadcast to all your major governmental centers." Catherine straightened her uniform and stepped forward. "The United Earth Government acknowledges the Council. I am Ambassador Hayes, and this is Admiral Russell of our Defense Forces." Xalther's upper arms made a dismissive gesture. "We are aware of your identities. This is not a discussion, humans. This is a final notice." The Valerian delegate, a reptilian being with feathered crests, leaned forward. "Your species has expanded beyond acceptable parameters. You have established colonies on 17 worlds in just 30 years. Your military vessels now patrol regions where you have no diplomatic standing. Those regions border our settlements." John countered. "We have the right to protect our people. You have no rights except those granted by the Council." The shrill voice came from Delegate Mexpol of the Saurian Collective, their insectoid features clicking in agitation. "Your technology advances at a rate that threatens galactic stability. Your ships now carry weapon systems that match or exceed our patrol fleets." Catherine maintained her diplomatic composure. "We've shared our technological advancements as required by the Treaty of Proxima. We've opened our civilian research facilities to inspection." "Not all facilities," Xalther said coldly. "Our sensors detect energy signatures inconsistent with your reported capabilities." A murmur passed through the alien delegates. The eldest member of the Council, a Novan with translucent skin showing the slow flow of golden fluid beneath, raised a hand for silence. "Humans, we have observed your history. Your species progresses through conflict. You advance by overcoming obstacles. This trait made you valuable when you first joined the galactic community. Your solutions to problems were innovative. But now you have become the problem." Xalther interrupted. "The Council has voted. You will comply with the following directives. First, dismantle all deep space military vessels. Second, accept Council oversight at all research facilities. Third, halt colonization efforts beyond your current territories." John's fingers tightened around the edge of the console before him. "That would leave our outer settlements defenseless against raids. We've already lost 3 mining outposts to pirates the Council did nothing to stop. An unfortunate situation," the Novan acknowledged with a slow blink of luminous eyes. "But the alternative is unacceptable. Humanity must be contained before it destabilizes sectors that have known peace for millennia." Catherine stepped forward. "And if we refuse these directives?" Xalther's 4 hands formed a complex gesture that the translation software recognized as a formal threat. "Then the Council will take necessary action to ensure compliance. Our combined forces vastly outnumber yours. You have 14 Earth days to begin implementation," the Novan said more gently. "We hope you choose wisdom over pride." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving Catherine and John staring at empty air. "Well," Catherine said softly, "we knew this day would come." John nodded grimly. "I'll contact the President. It's time to activate Protocol Frost." As they turned to leave, Catherine paused at the viewport, looking back at the stars. "They think they know everything about us. That will be their first mistake. President William Barnes sat at the head of the oval table in the underground war room beneath the Rocky Mountains. The facility, officially designated Strategic Command Center Alpha, had been built 5 years ago, when humanity first suspected the Council's growing unease. "Play it again," he ordered. The recording of the Council's ultimatum appeared on the wall screen. The faces of the 12 alien delegates stared down at the assembled human leaders with a mixture of contempt and fear. "They're scared," said Defense Secretary Laura Wright. "Look at the Valerians' crest patterns. Their species can't hide stress reactions." Intelligence Director Marcus Freeman nodded in agreement. "Our analysis confirms it. They expected us to remain a minor power for at least another century. Our rapid advancement has disrupted their carefully balanced power structure." The President turned to the naval officers seated to his right. "Admiral Russell, your assessment of their threat." John Russell stood and activated the room's holographic display. A three-dimensional map of local space appeared, showing Earth's colonies and military installations in blue, Council territories in red. "Their combined forces do outnumber ours in conventional terms," he admitted, "but they're spread across 7 sectors. They can't deploy more than 30% of their fleet without leaving their core worlds vulnerable to other threats." "What about their technology advantage?" asked the Chinese representative, General Yang. Science Director Eliza Foster shook her head. "That gap has narrowed significantly. The Quantum Shield project was completed last month ahead of schedule. Our newest vessels can withstand their primary weapons." "And they don't know about Project Phoenix," Marcus added quietly. The room fell silent. Project Phoenix represented humanity's ultimate deterrent, a weapons system so advanced that even the development plans were kept separate, with no single person knowing all components. President Barnes stood and walked around the table slowly. "Catherine, you've spent more time with the Council representatives than anyone else. What's your read?" Ambassador Hayes considered carefully before answering. "They expect us to either comply immediately or make a show of resistance before ultimately surrendering. Their intelligence on our military capabilities is outdated. Most importantly, they fundamentally misunderstand human nature." "How so?" asked the European Union representative. "The Council evolved from species that value stability above all else. Their civilizations developed slowly, methodically. They cannot comprehend why we would risk everything for freedom and self-determination." General Yang leaned forward. "So they believe their show of force will intimidate us into submission." "Precisely," Catherine confirmed. "What they fail to understand is that humans don't respond well to threats." President Barnes returned to his seat. "Options." Laura Wright was first to speak. "Option 1. Appear to comply while secretly reinforcing our defenses. Buy time. They'll have observers monitoring every move," John pointed out. "And we'd lose the element of surprise." Marcus tapped his tablet. "Option 2. Full military response. Deploy the stealth fleet and activate Phoenix." "That could trigger a wider conflict," Catherine cautioned. "Millions of lives at risk." Eliza Foster cleared her throat. "Option 3. Protocol Frost." The room grew quiet again. Protocol Frost had been developed as a middle path, neither surrender nor all-out war, but a carefully orchestrated demonstration of strength designed to force a reassessment without major casualties. President Barnes looked at each face around the table. Votes. One by one, they voiced their decisions. The result was nearly unanimous. "Protocol Frost it is," the President declared. "We have 14 days to prepare. Admiral Russell, begin repositioning the stealth fleet. Marcus, activate our deep cover agents in Council space. Eliza, bring Phoenix to standby status." As the meeting adjourned, Catherine approached the President. "They'll never forgive us for this," she said quietly. Barnes smiled grimly. "I'm not looking for forgiveness, Ambassador, just respect." Outside, The mountain facility hummed with increased activity as humanity prepared its cold response to the Galactic Council's final warning. Commander Lisa Bennett stood on the bridge of the UES Valiant, a vessel that officially did not exist. On paper, the Valiant was a mid-sized cargo hauler named Star Wanderer. In reality, it was the flagship of humanity's stealth fleet, featuring technology that even the Council's advanced sensors could not detect. "Status report," she ordered, watching as her crew prepared for the most important mission of their careers. Lieutenant Paul Harris looked up from his station. "All ships report ready, Commander. Formation Alpha is complete." Lisa nodded and studied the tactical display. 20 warships now held position in key locations throughout the solar system. The Council would detect only what Earth wanted them to see: a handful of outdated defense platforms and a modest fleet of conventional military vessels. "What's the status of the civilian evacuation drills?" she asked. Communications Officer Diane Clark responded promptly. "Proceeding as planned. The public believes these are standard emergency preparedness exercises. Key personnel and essential resources are being moved to the hardened facilities. The Council observers are monitoring but show no signs of suspicion." Lisa allowed herself a small smile. The evacuation drills served two purposes. They protected civilians while disguising the movement of military assets. Council representatives stationed on Earth would report only that humans were conducting routine safety exercises, exactly what a frightened species might do when threatened. "And the Council fleet?" Lisa asked. Sensor Officer Kevin Young consulted his readouts, still gathering at their forward base in the Proxima system. "Current count stands at 27 warships with more arriving. They're making no effort to hide their movements." "Of course not," Lisa said. "They want us to see them coming. They expect fear to do half their work." The ship's AI chimed softly. "Incoming secure transmission from Strategic Command." "Put it through to my private channel," Lisa ordered, moving to the small conference room adjacent to the bridge. Admiral Russell's face appeared on the screen. "Commander Bennett, status update. Stealth fleet deployment complete, sir. All vessels in position and maintaining emission control protocols. The Council sees only what we want them to see." Russell nodded. "Good. The diplomatic team is playing their part. Ambassador Hayes has requested a formal audience with the Council to discuss implementation of their directives. They've granted the meeting in 3 days. That gives us the time we need," Lisa confirmed. "There's more," Russell continued. "Intelligence reports the Council is split on how to handle us. The Novans and Tellarites favor a more measured approach, while the Arcturians and Saurians are pushing for immediate military action." Lisa frowned. "That could work against us if the hardliners move before we're ready. Or for us, if we can exploit the division," Russell countered. "Your orders remain unchanged. Maintain position and complete stealth system checks. Be prepared to execute Phase 2 on my command." "Understood, sir." Valiant out. Lisa returned to the bridge, where her crew awaited further instructions. "The Council thinks they understand humanity," she told them. "They've studied our history, our wars, our divisions. What they fail to comprehend is our capacity to unite when threatened." She activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands, this is Commander Bennett. In less than 72 hours, we will execute the most important maneuver in human history. Every drill, every simulation has prepared us for this moment." Lisa paused, looking at the determined faces of her crew. "The Council believes they're dealing with a fractious, primitive species that will bow under pressure. Their mistake is thinking we still fight like we did centuries ago, with obvious weapons and direct confrontation. They expect thunder and fire." Her voice lowered. "Instead, we will give them ice. Cold, calculated, and invisible until the moment of impact. Protocol Frost begins now." Throughout the solar system, 20 ships and their crews waited silently in the void. humanity's hidden sword poised to change the galactic balance of power forever. Ambassador Catherine Hayes adjusted her formal diplomatic uniform as the shuttle approached the massive council station orbiting Proxima Centauri. The structure resembled a gleaming silver wheel with 12 spokes, each representing one of the major species that governed galactic affairs. "Remember the plan," said her aide, Robert Garcia, his voice low despite the shuttle's secure communication system. "Every minute you keep them talking gives our forces more time to prepare." Catherine nodded slightly. "I've been practicing diplomacy since before you were born, Robert. I know how to stall without appearing to stall." The shuttle docked with a gentle thud. Catherine took a deep breath and checked the small neural transmitter disguised as a decorative pin on her collar. The device would record every detail of the council chamber, information that might prove vital in the coming conflict. As the airlock opened, 4 alien guards, 2 towering Arcturians, and 2 reptilian Valerians waited to escort them. Catherine noted their ceremonial weapons and the subtle scanning devices they carried. Ambassador Hayes, the lead Arcturian, said through his translator, "You and your aide will follow. The council awaits." They walked through gleaming corridors where representatives of dozens of species moved about their business. Catherine observed many giving her curious or hostile glances. News of Earth's situation had clearly spread throughout the station. The Grand Council chamber doors slid open, revealing a circular room with a raised dais at its center. 12 ornate chairs formed a semicircle, each occupied by a senior delegate. Behind them stood their advisors and military representatives. Ambassador Catherine Hayes of Earth announced a small hovering drone in multiple languages, approaching the council under diplomatic protection to discuss implementation of Security Directive 738A. Catherine strode forward with practiced confidence, stopping at the designated speaking position. Robert remained 2 paces behind her. "Council members," she began, bowing slightly, "I thank you for granting this audience. The United Earth government wishes to ensure proper compliance with your directives while minimizing disruption to civilian populations." Zolther, the Arcturian delegate, leaned forward. "Your presence suggests Earth is prepared to accept our terms. Is this correct?" Catherine smiled diplomatically. "Earth is prepared to discuss a reasonable timeline for implementation. Dismantling our defense infrastructure is a complex process that cannot be rushed without creating dangerous situations." The Novan Elder's bioluminescent patterns shifted subtly. "Explain these dangers, Ambassador." "Many of our vessels contain experimental drive systems," Catherine explained. "Improper decommissioning could result in catastrophic failures. Additionally, several of our outer colonies depend on military escorts for basic supply deliveries, due to pirate activity in those sectors." The Valerian delegate hissed softly. "These sound like excuses for delay." "Not at all," Catherine countered smoothly. "We merely seek to ensure safety and stability during the transition. Our experts estimate a minimum of 6 months would be required." "Unacceptable," interrupted Zolther. "The directive specified 14 days to begin implementation, not to complete it." Catherine nodded respectfully. "Perhaps I wasn't clear. We are prepared to begin the process immediately. However, we request Council technical advisors to oversee the decommissioning of our more advanced systems. This would both ensure compliance and address your concerns about human technology." This suggestion caused a stir among the delegates. Catherine had carefully calculated this move, offering access to some systems while knowing the Council would send their experts directly into what could become a conflict zone. "A reasonable proposal," the Novan Elder said after conferring quietly with his advisors. "We will assign a delegation of technical observers. Additionally," Catherine continued, "we request clarification on exactly which research programs fall under Council oversight. Our medical research, for example, is vital to treating several colony-specific diseases." For the next 3 hours, Catherine methodically worked through dozens of clarification questions, watching as the Council became increasingly frustrated yet unable to dismiss her concerns without appearing unreasonable. Meanwhile, Her neural transmitter silently gathered data on the council chamber security systems, communication arrays, and the subtle power dynamics between the delegates, all flowing directly to Earth's intelligence services. As the session finally concluded, Robert whispered, "Masterfully done." Catherine's expression remained neutral, but internally she agreed. She had just bought humanity another precious week of preparation time. Dr. Nathan Wilson moved carefully through the underground facility beneath Europa's icy surface. The base, officially designated Research Station E7, appeared on all official documents as a deep-sea biology research center. In reality, it housed Project Phoenix, humanity's most closely guarded secret. "Status report," Nathan called out as he entered the main laboratory. Chief Engineer Susan Carter looked up from her workstation. "Final calibrations complete, Doctor. The displacement field is stable at 98% efficiency." Nathan nodded, studying the massive device that occupied the center of the chamber. Unlike conventional weapons with barrels and obvious destructive components, Phoenix resembled a series of concentric rings surrounding a pulsing blue core. The technology had been developed after studying fragments of an ancient alien vessel discovered on Mars, technology predating even the oldest council species. "And the quantum signature?" he asked. "Completely masked," replied Susan. "As far as any council sensors are concerned, this facility is generating power outputs consistent with a standard research station. The phase-shifting equipment keeps the core signatures out of normal spacetime until activation." Nathan walked around the device, checking readouts on various monitors. Project Phoenix was not merely a weapon. It was a revolutionary technology that could selectively alter the physical laws within a defined area of space. It could disable enemy ships without destroying them, neutralize energy shields, or even prevent faster-than-light travel within its field of effect. "Dr. Wilson," called one of the younger scientists, Alex Rivera, "you should see this. I've been monitoring council communications through their relay near Ganymede." Nathan moved to Alex's workstation and studied the data stream. "They're sending a technical delegation to inspect our defense systems. Ambassador Hayes' diplomatic work," Susan remarked, "buying us time while putting council observers right where we want them." "How long until Phoenix is fully operational?" Nathan asked. Susan consulted her tablet. 23 hours to complete final safety protocols. After that, we can deploy on your command." Nathan opened a secure communication channel to the command center on Earth. "This is Wilson. Phoenix status update. Operational readiness in T-23 hours. Awaiting final authorization codes." The face of Intelligence Director Marcus Freeman appeared on the screen. "Understood, Doctor. The Council fleet has increased to 35 vessels. Our intelligence suggests they're growing impatient with diplomatic delays." "We'll be ready," Nathan assured him. "The President has authorized Phase 3 preparations," Marcus continued. "Activation code sequence is being transmitted now through separate channels." Nathan's secure tablet chimed as it received the encrypted data. "Received. We'll begin final preparations immediately." After ending the transmission, Nathan gathered his senior team. 6 people stood before him, the only humans in the solar system who fully understood Phoenix's capabilities. "The moment we've prepared for has arrived," he told them. "In less than 24 hours, we may need to activate Phoenix. Each of you knows your role." He looked at each face in turn. "What we do here will either prevent a war or start one. The Council believes they understand human technology. They believe they have superior weapons and defenses." Susan smiled grimly. "They think we're children playing with dangerous toys." "Exactly," Nathan agreed. "And that misconception is our greatest advantage. Phoenix isn't just a weapon. It's a statement. It tells the Council that humanity has advanced beyond their understanding." Alex looked nervous. "Do you really think they'll back down once they see what Phoenix can do?" Nathan considered the question carefully. The Council has maintained power through fear and technological superiority for millennia. When both are suddenly removed, they'll have to reconsider their options. As the team dispersed to their stations, Nathan studied the pulsing blue core one final time. Throughout human history, technological leaps had often determined the outcome of conflicts. From gunpowder to nuclear weapons, the side with the superior technology usually prevailed. Now, deep beneath Europa's ice, humanity prepared to reveal an advancement that would forever change their place in the galactic order. Supreme Commander Kelvor of the Arcturian Defense Force stood on the command deck of the Celestial Justice, the most powerful warship in the Council fleet. Around him, officers from 7 different species monitored their stations as the fleet of 35 vessels moved into formation at the edge of Earth's solar system. "All ships report ready for transition to Earth space," reported his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Traz. Kelvor's 4 arms made a gesture of acknowledgement. "The humans have exhausted our patience. Their ambassador speaks of cooperation, while their military continues operations in restricted sectors." The holographic display showed the fleet arranged in attack formation, a spearhead design with heavy warships at the center and faster patrol vessels forming the outer edges. The Celestial Justice held the position of honor at the formation's heart. "Our intelligence reports that the humans have gathered their defense fleet near their Mars colony," said fleet strategist Mexa, a Valerian whose scaled skin reflected the blue light of the tactical displays. 17 vessels, primarily outdated cruisers and support ships. Kelvor made a sound that the translator rendered as contemptuous laughter. "They can't possibly believe such a meager force could stop us. Perhaps they plan to surrender when faced with our superior numbers," suggested diplomatic observer Ulfar, the lone Novan aboard. "If that was their intention, they would have accepted our terms days ago," Kelvor replied. "No, they are planning something. But what?" The massive view screen showed the darkness of space ahead, the distant star that the humans called Sol barely visible at this range. "Commence detailed scan of the system," Kelvor ordered. "I want to know if they've hidden additional vessels." The sensor officer, a diminutive Tellarite with 6 eyes, worked his controls with practiced efficiency. "Scanning complete, Commander. We detect the expected human defense fleet near Mars. Their orbital platforms around Earth show normal power signatures. Several civilian transport vessels moving between colonies, but nothing unusual." Kelvor studied the data personally. The human military response seemed surprisingly inadequate. Had they miscalculated, or were they hiding something? Could they have developed stealth technology beyond our detection capabilities? He asked the science officer. The Saurian scientist clicked her mandibles in a gesture of doubt. "Highly improbable, Commander. Our sensors operate on 17 different bands. To evade detection, they would need to mask energy emissions across all spectrums simultaneously. The humans have surprised us before," Kelvor reminded her. "Never underestimate their capacity for innovation." Still, the scans showed nothing concerning. Perhaps the humans truly did not understand the gravity of their situation. "Prepare for system entry," Kelvor commanded. "Alert all vessels to maintain combat readiness." The massive engines of 35 warships engaged simultaneously, creating a ripple effect in space-time as they accelerated toward Earth's solar system. "Message from Council Central, Commander," reported the communications officer. "The technical delegation has arrived on Earth to begin inspection of human defense systems." "Excellent timing," Kelvor remarked. "Our show of force will strengthen their position." The fleet emerged from FTL travel near the orbit of Neptune, the distant blue planet appearing as a small dot on their sensors. "We are being scanned," announced the sensor officer suddenly. "Multiple sources, extremely focused beams." "The humans have detected us," Kelvor said unnecessarily. "As expected. Are they transmitting any communications?" "Nothing yet, Commander." "Then we will speak first. Open a channel to Earth's military command." The communications officer complied, and Kelvor stepped onto the transmission platform. "Attention Earth forces. This is Supreme Commander Kelvor of the Galactic Council Defense Fleet. Your time for deliberation has ended. You will power down your defense systems and prepare to receive Council oversight teams at all military installations. Failure to comply will result in immediate enforcement action. Several tense moments passed before a response came through. Council Fleet, this is Admiral John Russell of Earth Defense Command. We acknowledge your arrival. Be advised that any hostile action will be met with appropriate response. Kelvor signaled for the transmission to be cut. Such bravado from a species about to be disciplined. Tactical, prepare to disable their orbital defense platforms as a demonstration. Commander, interrupted the sensor officer, his voice rising with alarm. New contacts appearing throughout the system. Commander Lisa Bennett watched as the stealth systems on the UES Valiant powered down. Across the solar system, 19 other ships of Earth's hidden fleet did the same. After weeks of waiting in silence, the moment of truth had arrived. All ships confirmed disengagement of stealth systems, reported Lieutenant Harris. We are now visible to Council sensors. Lisa nodded and activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands, battle stations, activate quantum shields and charge weapons systems, but hold fire until ordered. On the main view screen, the Council fleet appeared as a cluster of red indicators. Their formation had faltered when Earth's stealth fleet suddenly materialized around them. 5 ships behind, 7 above, 8 below. The Valiant itself had taken position directly ahead of the Council flagship. They're scanning us intensively, reported Sensor Officer Young. Their weapons systems are powering up. Let them scan, Lisa replied calmly. They're about to learn just how much they've underestimated us. The communications officer looked up from her station. Incoming transmission from the Council flagship, Commander. On screen. The alien face of Supreme Commander Kelvor appeared, his 4 eyes narrowed in what Lisa recognized as a mixture of surprise and rage. Human vessel, explain your presence and how you evaded our sensors, the Arcturian demanded. Lisa stood straight, maintaining eye contact with the alien commander. This is Commander Lisa Bennett of the United Earth ship Valiant. Your fleet has entered sovereign human space without permission. We request that you withdraw immediately. Kelvor's upper arms made a dismissive gesture. Your deception changes nothing. Your 20 vessels cannot hope to challenge our 35. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. I think you misunderstand the situation, Commander. We're not here to fight your fleet. We're here to demonstrate why attacking humanity would be a mistake. She nodded to her communications officer, who activated a separate channel. Phoenix Control, this is Valiant. Execute Phase 3. Beneath the icy surface of Europa, Dr. Nathan Wilson entered the final authorization code. The massive rings of Project Phoenix began to spin, the blue core pulsing with increasing intensity. Displacement field charging, reported Susan Carter. Targeting coordinates locked. Field will encompass the entire Council fleet while avoiding our vessels. Nathan watched the power levels rise on his display. Activate in 3, 2, 1. Engage. For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a wave of barely visible distortion spread outward from Europa, racing across the solar system at superluminal speed. On the Celestial Justice, alarms suddenly blared across every deck. Commander, shouted the Saurian science officer. Energy field detected, unlike anything in our databases. Before Kelvor could respond, every system on his ship simultaneously powered down. Weapons, engines, shields, all disabled in an instant. Throughout the Council fleet, the same phenomenon occurred, leaving 35 of the most powerful warships in the galaxy drifting helplessly in space. Only life support and communications remained functional. On the Valiant, Lisa watched as the Council fleet went dark. Phoenix deployment confirmed. All Council vessels neutralized. She reopened the channel to the Celestial Justice. Supreme Commander, your fleet has been disabled by a localized distortion in space-time that prevents your energy systems from functioning. Your life support remains operational as a courtesy. Kelvor's face showed a mixture of disbelief and dawning comprehension. Impossible. Such technology is beyond Council science. Lisa finished for him. That was your first miscalculation. Your second was assuming we would follow conventional military doctrine. In Washington, President William Barnes addressed an emergency session of the United Earth Government, his words broadcast to every human settlement across the system. The Galactic Council has today learned what many others throughout human history have discovered. We do not respond well to ultimatums. We do not bow to threats. And when pushed, we push back harder. He paused, looking directly into the camera. To the Council, our message is simple. We offer peace and cooperation between equals, or we demonstrate more of what you've seen today. Earth is not seeking galactic dominance. We ask only for our independence and the right to determine our own destiny. In the Phoenix control room, Nathan watched as data streamed in from the neutralized Council fleet. It worked perfectly, Susan said, her voice filled with wonder. Not a single ship damage, not a single life lost. Nathan nodded. That was always the plan. This isn't about destroying the Council. It's about changing the relationship. Ambassador Catherine Hayes stood in the Council chamber aboard the neutral diplomatic vessel positioned between the disabled Council fleet and Earth's stealth ships. The circular room had been hastily prepared for this historic meeting, with Earth and Council representatives seated on opposite sides of a large round table. Supreme Commander Kelvor entered with 3 other alien delegates, their movements stiff with barely contained fury. The Arcturian's 4 eyes fixed on Catherine, with an intensity that would have intimidated a less experienced diplomat. This violation of galactic law will not stand, Kelvor stated without preamble. Your attack on Council vessels was not an attack, Catherine interrupted calmly. No vessel was damaged. No life was lost. We simply demonstrated our technological capabilities. The Novan elder, Wolfar, raised a hand. His translucent skin pulsed with golden light as he spoke, a capability that should not exist. Our scientists have examined the field affecting our vessels. It selectively disrupts energy systems while leaving biological functions untouched. Such precision is concerning. As was your ultimatum to a sovereign species, Catherine replied. The Council has operated for millennia under the assumption that your technological superiority gave you the right to dictate terms to others. Today, that assumption has been challenged. President Barnes's hologram appeared at the table, projected from Earth. I believe we can move beyond threats and recriminations. The United Earth Government proposes a new relationship with the Galactic Council, one based on mutual respect rather than dominance and submission. Kelvor's upper arms twitched in anger. You speak of respect while holding our fleet hostage. Your fleet entered our system with hostile intent, Barnes countered. Nevertheless, as a show of good faith, we will release half your vessels immediately. On cue, the Phoenix field partially collapsed, allowing 17 Council ships to regain power. The remaining 18, including the flagship Celestial Justice, remained disabled. The Valerian delegate hissed softly. What are your terms? Catherine activated a holographic display showing a series of points. First, recognition of Earth and its colonies as a sovereign territory, free from Council oversight. Second, a non-aggression pact between all Council species and humanity. Third, open trade relations with fair access to all markets. And in return, asked Wolfar. We will share select technologies, Barnes replied. Not weapons, but advances in medicine, agriculture, and sustainable energy production. Additionally, we offer our unique problem-solving abilities to address challenges facing the galaxy. The Council representatives conferred privately, their translators disabled to prevent eavesdropping. After several minutes, Wolfar spoke for the group. The Council cannot appear to reward defiance. Your terms would encourage other species to challenge our authority. Catherine smiled slightly. Then perhaps the Council's authority should rest on mutual benefit rather than fear. Consider this. Today, Humanity demonstrated we could have destroyed your fleet. Instead, we chose to disable it temporarily and invite dialogue. A calculated move, Kelvor argued. Of course, Catherine agreed. Just as your ultimatum was calculated. The difference is our calculation included a path to peace that preserves dignity for all parties. President Barnes leaned forward in his holographic projection. The galaxy is changing, Council members. New threats emerge from beyond the known regions. Ancient species stir from hibernation. Would it not be better to have humanity as an ally than an adversary? The Council representatives exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. Finally, Wolfar spoke. We will bring your proposal to the full Council. Until then, we request the release of our remaining vessels as a demonstration of your peaceful intentions. Catherine looked to President Barnes, who nodded. The rest of your fleet will be released once you have withdrawn beyond Neptune's orbit. We trust this compromise is acceptable. The meeting concluded with a formal agreement to continue negotiations. As the Council representatives departed, Catherine remained behind with President Barnes' hologram. Do you think they'll accept? She asked once they were alone. They have little choice, Barnes replied. Their entire system of governance was based on technological superiority. That illusion has been shattered. Catherine gazed out the viewport at the stars. Everything changes from here. Yes, Barnes agreed. Protocol Frost has achieved its objective. The galaxy will never be the same.